scientists say greenhouse gas emissions are to blame.
So what is climate change? Climate change is the change of temperature and weather patterns. This occurs naturally, such as through the variance in the solar cycle. Comes from using the gasoline to drive cars or coal to heat the buildings. Land and forest clearing can also release the carbon dioxide. Landfills are a major source of methane emissions. Energy, industry, transportation, buildings, agriculture, and land use are among the major of emitters. The impact of climate change, including in human health, such as acute respiratory infection and tuberculosis. The changed weather patterns shifts in rainfall patterns, which can result in droughts in some areas and floods in others. Next, biome shifting. Climate change causes shifts in the reproductive and growth cycles of organisms. For example, the flowering period is influenced by certain temperatures.
Greenhouse gases act similarly to the glass in a greenhouse. They absorb the sun's heat that radiates from the Earth's surface and trap it in the atmosphere to prevent it from escaping into space. The greenhouse effect also helps keep the Earth's temperature warmer than it would otherwise, supporting life on Earth. Many greenhouse gases also occur naturally in the atmosphere, but human activities contribute to their accumulation. As a result, the greenhouse effect in the atmosphere is boosted and it alters our planet's climate, which lead to a shift in snow and rainfall patterns, a rise in average temperature, and more extreme climate events such as heat waves or floods.
Now, let us talk about the feedbacks. There are two types of feedbacks, which are negative and positive feedback. First, let's talk about positive feedback. Positive feedback refers to a process or mechanism that amplifies the effects of a particular environmental change, often leading to a detrimental changes in the ecosystem. We can take an example from the ice albedo feedback. As temperature rises, polar caps will melt. These white and reflective surfaces have high albedo, meaning they reflect a significant amount of incoming sunlight. As they shrink, more sunlight is absorbed by the Earth's surface, leading to a further warming which would cause more ice to melt. Now, let's talk about negative feedback. Negative feedback is a regulatory mechanism in which a change in a system's condition triggers response that counteract or oppose the change, helping to maintain stability. Essentially, negative feedback works to keep a system within a set range or target value. When the system deviates from the set point, negative feedback aims to bring it back. A good example of negative feedback mechanism is when there is an increase in temperature that will increase the amount of cloud cover. The increased cloud thickness or amount could reduce incoming solar radiation and limit warming. There are also feedback mechanisms that are associated with global warming that may involve very long time lags. Sea level rise from ice sheet melting is a good example. The melting of massive ice sheets in Antarctica and Greenland has a long time lag. Even if we are to stop greenhouse gases emissions, there would be the process of ice sheets disintegration and subsequent sea level rise would continue for centuries to millennia due to slow response of ice sheets to temperature changes.
These are the three main ways human activities affect the climate change. Deforestation, mainly due to agriculture, expansion, urban growth, and logging, eliminates trees serving as carbon storage. Trees absorb CO2 from air and store carbon within their structure. When trees are burned, the stored carbon is released back into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. Burning fossil fuel like coal, oil, and natural gas lets out a lot of greenhouse gas into the air. These gases trap heat and cause the greenhouse effects, which leads to the global warming. Also, cutting down trees in deforestation reduces the amount of CO2 absorbed, adding more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Industrial and agricultural practices. GHG and other pollutants are released into the atmosphere as a result of several industrial and agricultural practices. Cattle farming, in particular, uses enteric fermentation and waste management to produce methane. Additionally, nitrous oxide, another potent greenhouse gas, is released when synthetic fertilizers are used in agriculture. Other pollutants that are emitted by industrial activity include sulfur dioxide and black carbon, which can affect cloud formation and upset the energy balance of the planet.
To address the issue of climate change, some countries apply protocols. For example, globally, there is a protocol called Kyoto Protocol. The Kyoto Protocol aimed to lessen the greenhouse gases emission through a combination of legally binding commitments, market mechanism, and international cooperation among participating countries. While the Kyoto Protocol made important strides in addressing climate change, it has limitations such as lack of universal participation and the absence of binding target for the developing country. However, in Indonesia, we also have some protocols. The first one is called Green Energy by 2030. This scenario aims to reduce the share of fossil fuel energy and increase the share of new renewable energy. And the second protocol is called Ganjil Genap. It is a policy in Jakarta, essentially allows vehicles with odd numbers license plates to pass through certain roads on odd days, and vehicle with even number license plates on even dates.
One way of adapting dealing with the climate change are utilizing sustainable agricultural method that helps soil health and minimize the usage of dangerous chemicals. Utilizing effective irrigation system and water saving techniques will ensure responsible use of water resource. Promoting the use of hydroelectric, solar, and other renewable energy sources in order to lessen our reliance on fossil fuel. Promoting the use of eco-friendly practices and technologies in industrial to reduce the carbon emissions. Promoting active community engagement in regional conservation initiatives and educating people about the significance of environmental preservation.